All right, here we go again. We're back again for another episode of the Unnecessary Thoughts podcast. That's podcast number 4.
Yes,
and
sir.
Today, Peter, we're going to be talking about something pretty interesting, I think, for a lot of people because as an adult now, this was very important to me 10 years ago. But we're going to be talking about high school experiences. And on top of high school experiences, we're going to dabble into our thoughts on mass shootings and the mass shooting that's been kind of happening. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting today. So I hope you guys will enjoy this and listen. And if you guys have any questions or any comments, please make sure that you guys comment down below or just message us or whatnot. So Peter, how have you been, brother? It's been too long.
Dude, my goodness. It's been like 2 weeks since our last episode or like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, too long. Sorry, guys. But hey, man, we've been kind of busy though because like,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, for some reason, all my bros decided, hey, why don't we all get married in the same year, you know? And it's kind of been like, all right, I guess we're going with it. Yeah, so,
That's true.
yeah, actually, my sister got married and one of my bros got married. It was at the same time. They got married to each other, by the way. Yeah. Shout out. Hey, what's up, Sam? What's up, Amy?
Sam. Oh yeah, Sam. You guys know Sam. He was on the first
Oh, yeah,
episode
that's
of the
right.
Unnecessary Thoughts podcast. So yeah, he got married. Did you enjoy the wedding? You happy for your sister?
Yeah, dude, I couldn't be more happy for them, man. It was like a huge blessing, and yeah, man, it was nice to see some family from out of state, and it was a good time. It was a good time.
You realize that we are so interconnected with like Denver church. We're pretty much related to everybody now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, all these marriages are like tying all the families together that weren't like already together. Like now, like we're actually like together.
Like legit, because now I'm like related to pretty much everybody. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
I know that you came back from a retreat too.
Oh yeah, we just got back this morning.
How was that?
Dude, it was awesome, man. So yeah, we left on Friday, and like the retreat didn't start till like Friday evening, but some of us kind of left like Friday afternoon, and we just up there like chilling. And man, it was good. We had a speaker come in from
Is it Indiana, Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Sifu McYoung, if y'all know him. He came down and gave us the word, and man, it was a blessing for sure. Yeah,
What did he talk about?
yeah. So like one of our theme was that the theme that Sifu Ku, like our youth pastor, gave to Sifu McYoung to preach about was this idea of like unity. And yeah, so like Sifu McYoung, he just kind of took that and ran with it, and he was just kind of like, yeah, you know, that's a great topic, you know, but like we can't just like, you know, swing around this banner of like, hey, let's be united. But he brought into the question, like, what is it then that unites us, and what is it we are united under? And yeah, he just, you know, he's like, man, it's the gospel, and you know, it's the blood of the work of Christ. And he just really like, you know, exposited the word of God in Romans chapter 12. And it was just something that I think was really refreshing for a lot of the young adults, and really good that kind of like the youth got exposed to that kind of like expository kind of preaching from the word, because that's the only thing that they're gonna that's gonna, you know, affect them and make them grounded in their beliefs, is, you know, like if it's straight from scripture. So it was super good, man.
That's good.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
and I know you mentioned like for sure. Like let's jump into our topic, I guess, because for you and I, we both grew up in the church, so we've had experiences with the church, and we've kind of had friends within the church. Taking this back to high school, honestly, you know, when I think about high school, I don't think I could have done it without the church or the youth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're with me. And I don't think not knowing Jesus, if I didn't know Jesus, I think high school would have been 100 times worse than what I mean. It wasn't bad for you. Like my experience with the high school is, it wasn't good. I mean, when you look at all the all the mass shootings and kind of, well, the mass shootings that are in the media about like kids being bullied, and when like friends talk about them and how they label those kids, like he was a loner, he was awkward, he didn't have any friends. That pretty much describes me. So
me too.
like legitimately, I think if I went back to high school, I think people would red flag me, because I would have been that loner in the corner, just kind of do my thing. So how did you view high school itself? How did you view yourself in high school, and what do you think people like thought about you?
Dude, man, I gotta tell you, I was probably like the most self-conscious kid like on the face of the planet, dude. Like, man, like I had to make sure like, oh, I got gum in my backpack, kiss my best thing. Like, man, I gotta make sure I got my deodorant in my backpack. Like,
did you use Axe?
No, I use Red Zone, Fiji. I mean, yeah, it's called Red Zone. I don't know, but
Axe was the thing in high school, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I was super self-conscious, and yeah, I think there's just like this subculture within, in high school.
Yeah, for sure.
Sets this expectation of like, oh man, this is fun. This is like how you do school. This is what life is all about, like making friends, going on a party, and, like doing this with her, like getting the girl, getting the guy, and like everything. And like me being like a Christian and being definitely like still like young in my faith.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I didn't fit in anywhere, It was like I can't hang with them because like they go do this, they go do that, and like I'm like I don't roll that way, and like I'm not like these guys over here where they like they do this, do that, and like I got nowhere to go. It's just me. And yeah, me too. Like I was definitely like I was a straight up loner. Like yeah, man. Even like there's some guys from our church that went to school with me too. But like we had like no classes together. Like I went to my whole high school career with them, but I didn't have like one like off period, one lunch period with them, like at all.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So I was like, man, this sucks.
So you were like legit a loner then?
Yeah, dude. Wow. And like, yeah, man, I could remember like, dude, yeah, like just like at lunch, I would just like sit in the library all by myself. And then like
that's what I did too.
Yeah, and like I think the lines are low now. Because I want to go straight to the lunchroom because there'll be like a huge lunch line. Yeah. And I'd be like, man, I don't want to stand by people. So like, I'm going to wait till the line goes down. Yeah. And then like, and then I'm going to go. And then like, I went and like got my lunch and then like, I'll eat real quick and just like go back in the hallway.
That's it. Dude. I'm out.
Yeah, dude, man, that's legit all I do. But like, dude, I had this super cool librarian though. Man, she was chill. Like she knew me. She was like, oh yeah, Peter, like she like, usually can't like go like back and forth from like the library and stuff without a pass, but yeah, she would like always just let me go.
Oh, she was cool with it?
Yeah, so I was like, cool. I was like her favorite, man.
That's like, that kind of describes me. Like,
yeah, dude.
In freshman year, I had my sister Chilu, so I had Chilu with me. So every time during lunch, I would go. Like she would have like yearbook club, so she would be in a room with like computers. So I would go during my lunch and chill out with her and just get on the internet and start surfing the net. But then once she graduated, because she was a senior, so I had 1 year with her. And then in my sophomore, junior, and senior year, man, it was like intense lonerism. Lunch, I think you weren't supposed to go out. I don't know. I think in sophomore, you're not supposed to go out. I think I started going out and like started kind of just leaving the premises during sophomore year, and then for junior year 100%. Like this I had to stick on a like hard schedule because it would be like first, second, third period, and then I would have my what is it called again? I forget those, like that free hour.
Oh, just like an off hour.
Off hour, yeah. I would have my off hour, and then I would have lunch, and then I lived 15 minutes away if I walked, and I had like a 50 minute lunch. So I would take off from like once the bell rang, I left my class, speed walked 15 minets home. Then I got there for 15 minutes. I chilled out for 15 minutes, and then I would walk back. And I did that for the whole, like all of my high school years.
I'm sorry to see you, man. I would have been your friend.
It was so bad. Like I think about it, and I was like, dang, that's super sorry. But that's what I did for like 3 years. And then I started high school was just so weird, man. Like I just put so much emphasis on people's opinions on me, and
Yeah.
I didn't even like. I was good. You know what's stupid about like school for me? In 8th grade, like I thought it was cool to stop doing homework. I don't know what it was. I guess it was just because I looked at all the cool people and they were like they didn't do their homework, so
Yeah.
like I want to be cool. So I stopped doing my whole homework in 8th grade. So that's where it like began this horrible chain of just me being a procrastinator and not doing my homework. But then at the same time, I started realizing like these different subjects didn't even matter to me, like math and all that stuff. I was like, yo, I don't care about math, and I could tell I was horrible at math. But yeah, it's just like this growing up by myself in high school and experiencing that lonerism, and it was pretty bad. Which kind of crazy though. I knew all the popular people, and they kind of knew me too. So whenever a popular kid, like if we went to a first day of class and a popular kid didn't know anybody, guess who they would choose to sit by? Me, the loner. So technically I was popular, yeah. But yeah, my people's perception on me was just I was an extreme loner. People had to have thought like, yo, this guy's kind of weird. Because you always look at, when you're in high school, you can tell the goth people and like those socially awkward people. You could tell them by different cliques. But then like I started thinking, I was like, man, all these goth people and all these socially awkward people, why do they all have friends though?
Yeah.
Like I'm the one judging these guys, but I don't have I don't have a friend. So I was like, yo, what's going on? But
dude, me too, man. I feel like we lived the same life, maybe 5 years apart.
Oh, so sad, bro. Yeah, so that's, high school, I just put so much, like, here's the thing, kids, like, when you should not put so much, like, while you're living it, obviously, you're gonna want to fit in, you're gonna want to do all this and that, but, man, when you think about it in the long term, like, I'm 10 years out from high school, and when I look back at other people's, like, when you go on social media and you see them, and you're just like, man, they're just regular people now.
Yep.
Like in high school they were jerks, and they were like, they did everything to be the popular kid, or even the smart kids who were like, man, this guy's gonna be something. Most of the time they're just regular people now. And like you have to kind of look beyond that 4 years of your life, because it may suck right there, but don't put such an emphasis on it, because when you grow up, everybody pretty much is going to be the same. And that's kind of what happened. So you had no friends in high school?
No, not really. I had like maybe one or two, but they were like, dude, it would be like one a year. And it would be like a new person like a year from like one class. I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna, like, when I'm lonely, I'm gonna just like chill with this guy, or like in class, like projects, like I'm gonna go find this guy.
Think of what it is, dude.
But honestly, dude, like I didn't have really like any friends. Like definitely none of the people I knew from high school, like I did not make contact with them like outside of school. They were just like over there, like school, and then like all my church friends and stuff, like those are like kind of like my real friends and stuff. And dude, I didn't really have much friends though.
I think one thing that like helped me survive, because I know for a fact, like nobody knew, like this is how bad nobody knew me. So in my senior year, yo, I'm 4 years in high school already. I come back from lunch after going home, and then coming back from lunch, and I walked past the front office, and the secretary who was working in the office didn't recognize me. So they called the security, and they were like, yo, there's this guy who's just showed up at school. You guys, you got to stop him. So then the security guys, they stopped me, and they were like, hey, I need to see your ID. I'm like, bro, I'm a senior. I've been here for 4 years. I was like, I'm like, this is my school. And then a junior, like, who had no idea who I was like, no, I never seen him before.
Oh my god,
I've never seen him before. He's a stranger. So I pull out my ID, and I show it to the security guy, and he's like, oh, I guess that's, you do go here. I guess it's good we don't know you. And I was like, bro, that just hurts my feelings. So for 4 years, like, I got stopped. That's how much people didn't know me. And I think this could be detrimental for a lot of kids. But I think the good thing about me in high school is that I did have, I was involved in the church. And I had people outside of school that I depended on, like my childhood friends. That like we were in a band with each other, so we had each other, and I think that's kind of what helped me survive. And then my girlfriend, which is now my wife, also like yeah in the church. So I had them. So I think a lot of people who don't have, like, if you don't have friends in school, then man, it's so important to have friends outside of school, because I think that's definitely what helped me. Because if I didn't have the church youth friends, it would be I think as a young kid, that's very difficult to try to understand that you have nobody. So I had my church friends who kind of helped me survive high school.
Dude, like I could remember like my high school days. Like it was just like this weekly grudging of like trying to get through school and stuff, and like being all alone, and it sucked. But then like my refuge was when like every like Friday night and on the Sundays, like I would like be with Sufi David, and we'd like go through the word, and like I'd be with my friends, and like that was like my place of like refuge, where I would feel like oh, I have a place here, like I have friends here who care about me. And more importantly, like man, just like studying like the word, and that just kind of like really rooted my personality, and just really kind of it got me through the week. And like if I like took that out of like my life during that time of being just like a super like emotional, like super self-conscious guy that I was, like I don't know how on earth I would have made it through, without going insane. And I think that's just like, that could just be like, the fruit of what's happening today. And with all like, like the bullying and the mass shootings that's going on and stuff.
Did you actually, like, let's talk about bullying real quick. Did you actually see bullying, or were you ever bullied? Do you think you were?
I don't think, I know.
Oh, you were? Oh no.
Like I remember for sure, like when I was in middle school, like dude, I was like just the most awkward looking kid ever. Like dude, like I've not grown into my body.
You were so cute though.
No way, dude. Like I'd not grown into my body yet, and like dude, my dad was giving me these whack haircuts. I don't know why the heck I was like.
It was like bowl cuts.
Yeah, dude. I was like I didn't even care. Like I was like, man, I don't care, but like I did care. Yeah, dude. But then man, I got like made fun of it and stuff, and like man, it hurt my feelings. But
I bet.
Yeah. I mean, that was just kind of like.
Would you like that? Just like a surface type of bullying?
Yeah. It was just like really like petty kind of bullying and stuff. And it didn't really get like too like personal and stuff. I didn't make it like super personal.
Yeah.
Like as a personal attack on myself, but yeah, man, that's kind of like as far as like high school, well, like middle school and stuff. I think like I saw bullying a lot more in middle school, in my middle school years, like 6th to 8th grade.
Than high school?
Yeah, than high school. And like the thing about middle school too was that like it was kind of like, I don't know, cool, I guess. To be the bully and to make fun of people and to like troll people. Like if you could do that, then you were like a cool kid and stuff, and people wanted to be like that. But once we transitioned into high school and you started seeing people who acted that way, they're like, wow, that guy's such a jerk. Yeah. And like it was kind of like a shame, like, wow, that's so dumb. Like don't do that. Don't do that to other people, Yeah. Although like it still happened and stuff. It happened more passively, I guess, though.
Yeah. They kind of targeted like specific kids more. Yeah. In high school. Yeah, bullying. I think, like, here's the thing about me. I was a really prideful kid growing up, so like what people said to me, like I was short, so being short and being Asian. Oh my goodness! Like what a horrible combination. Because like I got hit from like the Asian side. I got hit from the short side. I got hit for pretty much everything, and then being a loner and all that stuff too. But I think I was probably bullied. But again, it was like more of that surface bullying too, where it was just kind of we're just gonna make fun of this kid, and like it didn't get. I think there are levels being bullied, like people calling you names and all that stuff, when then like people actually being physical with you. I never got to that point, because I think when people try to bully me, I have a mechanism. Like a lot of people have defense mechanisms. Like my thing was just to make it funny and like just to like acknowledge it. Like I started realizing that when people called me short and they meant it to hurt, I countered back with like some type of short joke, or just I accepted it, and it just takes their ammunition away. Kind of like you know, have you seen 8 Mile? Eminem.
No.
Yeah, so in that movie at the very end, like the last battle raps, he just starts making fun of himself. So then like the other guy loses his ammunition because you're just acknowledging it. So, you know, in high school, like people would make fun of me and my height, but I would just counter back of like, yep, yeah, it's true, it sucks, and then like people would just be like, oh yeah, cool man, and then like that'd be it, even though they had malicious intent. But like I just counted back with some type of humorous joke, or I just acknowledged that what they were saying were true.
Yep.
So I mean, I kind of faced some sort of bullying because it did happen, and people started like spit wads at me. They did that once to me, but that was the only one time because I don't know what I did. I think I might have frightened them, but they spit wad at me. I glared into like their soul. I think that they just like they laughed real quick and then they stopped, and then they just stopped doing it forever. But yeah, bullying. I think like what you said was, I mean, we're kind of 5 years difference between when you went and I went, but I think it was kind of the same too. I mean, there was like bullying did happen, but it was more we got to pick the right person. We got to go pick this guy and do it secretly and be passive about it. But yeah, it definitely happened to me on a smaller scale than other people. And I honestly didn't even see bullying happen, honestly. And when I went to high school, I think everybody had their cliques and everybody had their groups. Even like you knew that the nerds and the popular people didn't like each other.
Yeah.
But
they didn't really like hang together and stuff.
Yeah, they didn't hang out with each other anyways. So, you know, what would be your advice to like kids who are going through some type of like bullying scenario?
Like being bullied
themselves?
Like
being bullied themselves. And maybe even if they're the bully.
I feel like I mean, like, I don't really know why, for sure, kind of like why people bully in the first place.
Yeah.
And I know, like, for sure, like, the reason I wanted to bully people and make fun of other people is because it made myself feel better about, like, me. And, yeah, like, I think if you can just, like, address that problem and find a security within yourself, then, like, you eliminate part of, like, the bullying problem.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think a lot of times, too, like, young people kind of don't see the repercussions that bullying has on, like, the people that they are bullying.
Yeah.
And they don't see into the lives of the people who they're either that are bullying, and if there is a reason why they are acting that way, because a lot of times it could be kind of like this response of, like, a, you know, like a family problem at home, and they're just, like, so angry inside, and they lash out at people, or they just, you know, they want it, like, they're just like that. Or, like, if you're bullying someone, like, you don't know what kind of, like, this person is going through, like, in his home, in his life, and, like, you adding that on top of what they're already going through, like, man, it just has a huge detrimental effect. And as, like, a young youth person, like, I'm not thinking about that, you know, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like it makes me feel good, so I'm gonna do it. It makes me look cool, like, and I want to look cool, like, so I'm gonna do it. But yeah, man. But if there's, like, a solution to stuff, like, I'm not sure, man. You know, I think it's just the reality of, like, how we are as people.
Jesus is the solution, guys.
Amen.
For real though, like, I think, yeah, I guess my tip for, like, kids in high school is, again, going back to looking at life from a bigger perspective. 4 years, yes, it is important. High school is important to, like, get your education and get some social, I guess, like, get some friends so you can have some type of social atmosphere to be around. But yeah, for, like, kids out there, if you are in high school and you're wondering, man, how can I survive this, just know that you can. Because if you look at the bigger aspect of life, high school is nothing compared to the rest of that. And, like, you can set yourself up by doing well in school and, you know, being nice and being careful to people in your class, like, caring for them and watching over them. So, like, my tip to you guys is just don't look at high school as this, oh, this is it, this is all I have. The world gets bigger, a lot bigger, and you're going to start to see that high school is really nothing. It's from 16, what is it, from 15, 14 to 18.
Yeah.
So
18-ish.
very big in your development of like how you're gonna grow up. But if you're on the receiving side of being bullied, or you don't like high school, just know that it's such a small part when you look at the big spectrum of life. I mean, we're supposed to, with medical right now, I mean, we can all live close to 65 plus if we just take care of ourselves and whatnot. So don't look at life as like so little in high school. Just have a bigger perspective on life. If you do get bullied, don't be afraid to don't be afraid to defend yourself, or find some help to defend yourself, because I mean, it does happen, and we know it happens. So if you are in a situation where you're getting bullied, find help. One thing I was thinking about too is like, if you're a kid in high school who are bullied, get to know, ask people if they go to church, and then like really put them, it's kind of like putting them to the test too, because I was thinking about like, if you're a high school kid who don't know Christ, or you're not in the church but you know somebody who goes to church, then you should be able to go to that person and be like, hey, this is what's happening. And then that person who goes to church should be able to talk to their youth pastor or talk to somebody. You know, just there are ways out. So if you're
just like as simple as being your friend, you know.
Yeah, something simple like that. So when you're in high school, just don't look at it as this is it. Have a bigger perspective on life, because it does get bigger. So, and like for real, like when you look at the social media, like you know that all the cool kids, they're really just regular people now. They have regular jobs. They're all getting married. They have children. They're the same now, and you know, you're your own person, so you can decide what you want to do in your life. So just don't hold high school so important in your life. I know that being a youth, you obviously can't see that when you're living in that life at that time. But if you're listening to this, for sure, just know that it gets better. It can get better. Life just gets bigger. You can start doing anything that you really want to after high school, and so don't look at high school as this is it.
Yeah, I think like, too, along with that, like one of the biggest things I regret in high school, and just like in middle school in general, was that like when I saw like some bullying happen, like even like as small as it was, like just someone picking on someone else, like I was too scared to say something to them. And I was just like in my fear, I was just like silent, you know. But like thinking about it now, and just like, man, man, I should have said something. I need to say something. And like man, that's the truth right now for those of you who are in high school and like, you know, do witness bullying and stuff. Like, man, just don't sit there and like let it slide, you know. Like stand up for that person, like because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does.
Like I've seen like the effects of like what bullying can happen on to like people in high school. Like there's this guy I knew in my freshman year who he would get like, he wasn't like too athletic and stuff, and like me, like I got bullied when I was in middle school for my looks and stuff, but I was pretty athletic. Yeah. So like I could like hang with like the athletic people and stuff, and they were like respected me because of it. But yeah, I was just like this other guy who like he was like kind of like weird looking like me, but he wasn't athletic. So like they would like pick on him and stuff, and then I would just kind of like in my fear and stuff, just kind of like I don't know what to do, like But man, like just seeing like how that affected him and how that changed him like through the course of like the years of high school and stuff. Yeah. And like the things he got into, and I was like, man, like I remember back in like freshman year, like I should have stood up for him, like I should have been his friend, you know. But like if you see that happening, like, you know, like be that friend, be the protector, you know. Yeah, man, don't let it slide.
That's a good point. For sure, I think I would have been probably in the same situation where I was too scared to do something. Yep. Yeah, so if you see somebody getting bullied, just step up. It's scary, but for sure, it like in the long run, it's just gonna help them better. Because I think a lot of the times too, people just want to know that somebody's there for them. I guess not even like a friend, but just knowing that, hey, there's somebody looking out for me. Yep. So if you're in high school and you're witnessing bullying, make sure you stand up for that person, or at least find somebody to help them out. But yeah, I mean, high school, like kids, high school is difficult when you're living in it. But yeah, look at the bigger picture where life gets so much bigger.
Yeah.
Things can just you can do so much more in your life. So don't hold high school too high in that regard of like social placing and ranking and all that stuff. On top of the bullying thing too, I just want to touch on like shootings and mass
Yeah.
shootings and
Seems to be hot right now, man.
yeah, it's starting to pop up. Like I remember when Columbine happened. I think I was in 5th grade or 4th grade or 3rd grade. Was it 3rd grade? I don't even know. But I remember I was in elementary and I remember Columbine happening too. And you know, with social media nowadays too, like these shootings, they just get onto the news a lot
Yep.
more often.
Always.
I think you were mentioning that like the mass shooting definition
Yep.
is kind of different anyways.
Yeah. So like I would agree that kind of like this mass shooting of it's especially the ones that are happening by juveniles, that's like high school people,
Yeah.
like to other like juveniles, like other high school people, is increasing as time progresses from when it did like 10 years ago, you know. But like on the flip side as well, there is also like this agenda within the media that is publicizing all these shootings and like making them like kind of like the worst things that ever happened, which they are. But if we were to like define what just a mass shooter is, that being like someone who like has a firearm that kills more than 4 people, like that's what a mass shooter is. And if you take the statistics of like how many of those occur like throughout the year and stuff, like right now it's already like, what does it say, like 251 incidents of like mass shootings within, you know, since the beginning of 2019. That's the beginning of this year. It's been like what, 8 months now.
Yeah.
And like the question is how many of those are like school shootings then? Like very, very, very few of them. Maybe like, I don't know, 2%, 3%.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are just, you know, like criminal activity, like gang violence, and just like, you know, big cities and like their violence in those cities. And a lot of that just kind of goes under the rug. But it's not to like belittle like school shootings and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just to show that like
The kind of like these shootings are happening
yeah,
more than we know about it.
Yep.
And it's not even to the level of like a school shooting, but it's happening every single day. Like that statistic that you were talking about, there was a mass shooting of 251 events in the first 216 days of 2019 in the USA. So there is a problem, and you don't hear about these mass shootings, but you hear about the school mass shootings,
Yep.
which
it's
again,
always the school.
yeah, it's always the school. And again, the school, that's a horrible thing, and we're not trying to belittle any of the shootings, but man, it's happening, and it's frightening. I've been kind of afraid to go out to like big events. Like I've been kind of a paranoid person anyways. So with all these shootings coming around, it's like I don't want my family to go to a crowded place because I don't know anymore. And it's more of a fear. And I know they say don't let fear stop you from living. But it definitely makes me think about it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these, you know, the causes of mass shootings are too many. There's just too many. I don't think you can really break it down, especially for school, like mass shooting in school, and just in that context. I know there's a lot of people saying mental illness, bullying.
Yeah.
But I guess what would you try to change about it? What would you try to do to make it different?
I think, and this is just kind of like super, I guess like big picture, on like mass shootings and whatnot. But like if we ask ourselves, what is the cause of mass shootings? And we take an example, that being like school shootings and stuff. And then we kind of look at like this, let's look at the shooter and kind of like the life that he lived and like his family home and that kind of stuff. And if we can identify like these certain traits, then we can therefore, like if we prevent that, then prevent shootings, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like our way of thinking. But like I think that does help, you know, like addressing the symptoms does help lower the amount of number of shootings that we could have, but it does not address the problem of why we have like mass shooters in the first place.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, on my way down from the retreat, I was talking with my driver, and we were just like talking about like the state of the United States and where we are like as a country, and mainly what we believe and like how that is manifesting within our society like today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like me personally, like I think the problem is first and foremost, like we have become a nation and a people that, you know, that has forsaken the very foundations by which we have built ourselves up. And the moment that we do that, then we have like no rationale, no reason, and like all the kind of crazy sinful things that we're seeing happening in our society, like just with like suicide rates and like school shootings, mass shootings, like oh, like everything's so bad, like oh, like what, we don't know what to do. Well, it's because like we have separated from our foundations of you know, like a biblical kind of Christianity, a biblical belief that kind of ascribes value to like us as people.
Yeah.
And like, you know, just like a whole bunch of that. But I think just the root of the problem is that like we no longer acknowledge we just no longer acknowledge God and his law, and the things that we see in society now are just the fruits of it. And it's kind of like, well, what do you think is gonna happen, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like, of course that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think one of the main reasons is we have forsaken God, and like that is just the truth right there, because I think divorce rates are the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Broken families.
Yeah.
And if we, would you say broken family, like, would that be a root cause or a symptom
Of
like a potential? I get
like a school shooter or something.
yeah.
I think, I'll put it with the root cause.
Root cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would say the same thing too. I think definitely like divorce rates and people not really caring about the family and fathers. Like this is a call out to men too. Like I know there are really good men out there, but a lot of you guys are playing. Like if you get a woman pregnant, be man enough to stay in that, you know, that child's life.
Yeah.
And you see so many people just like, you see so many guys just get a woman pregnant and then just bail out.
Yeah.
And the woman is, they're raising their child by themselves without a man in the house or a rotating man, like men just coming into the life in and out. And I think honestly these mass shootings definitely have put a call on men to step up and be men and teach their sons like right from wrong. And again, it's getting away from the foundations of Christ. It's just like everybody is right now. Like you have people devaluing men and saying men aren't important. Then you have some families who like just women raised, and like there is a big difference, because like for me personally too, like I had my dad in my life, but he worked night shifts. So pretty much I was raised by my mom, and I can definitely tell some of my tendencies come from my mom, like being passive aggressive in certain situations, kind of just not speaking up when I'm supposed to. Like some of these things come directly from being pretty much raised by my mom, because she was there with me all day. I only saw my dad pretty much on the weekends. So like men, I feel like if men kind of step up and we take care of our duties and our responsibilities as being men and fathers, then we can kind of start attacking like this mental illness or this mental area in like young men's brains of like, yo, you can be more than this. Like you don't have to worry about, you can tell me all these things. And the more that we step away from like Christ and knowing God, then I think this has happened.
Yep.
This is gonna happen. It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it is true that it's just the causes of mass shootings. It can be whatever. It can be. There's so many of it, but we can start attacking the roots of like maybe look at kids who didn't have parents or biological fathers in their house. See if that makes a difference. And you know, I personally feel like it does make a difference. As a guy, you look up to your dad. So if you don't have a dad in your life teaching you every single day, then yeah, you're gonna start doing things that you aren't supposed to. And I think I think even Barack Obama, when he was a senator, he said in a Father's Day speech, we need fathers. We know the statistics that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crimes, 9 times more likely to drop out of schools, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. So the stats are there too.
Yep.
So I think you can't solve all the problems with mass shooters or like what happens, but I think if we just step up and just be what we're supposed to be, leading the family, leading your children, I think you can definitely see a change.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think just like another problem too that I see within America is like that like we're so good at like pointing out kind of the problems and stuff, and just like, oh, mass shooters are a problem, oh, like families and stuff are a problem, oh, like this and that's a problem. But just because like the culture of America now, we have like secularized, you know, like Christianity and like the Bible, its themes, its truths, we no longer can give an answer and give a solution to what the problems are, because we have separated those two things. Like, hey, don't bring those ideas over here. You know, like don't impose your ideas onto me. Like, I'm a free man, and like this is what happens. You know, like we're just giving ourselves up to our own depravity. Yeah. And but again, like what you said, like just in the practical sense of the family and fatherhood, and man, that plays a big role. And you know, I think the family in itself is a restraint that God has placed on earth that restrains evil from the hearts of men. You know, it's the truth found within Scripture. You know, you don't need to be a Christian to believe that this truth exists. Like, it exists nonetheless. Like the family and the father and the mother, like being in that family unit restrains all kinds of evil from breaking loose. Once we like break that up, then like, yeah, man, you better get ready for all hell to break loose on earth. But man, definitely a good topic, this idea of like manhood. And I do want to say that we're not professionals in all this. Definitely not. It's just what we're thinking. And we college dropouts.
You college dropouts. So yeah, we're just talking about these ideas because I like, we do see there is an issue with a lot of these shooters who, man, they just didn't have any family behind them. Even I think one of them, the Sandy Hook one? Or I don't know, one of them, it was just a mom who's raising her son, but I think she had a good career, so pretty much she was focused on her career anyways. So it was just the son on his own. So if you get a situation like that where the child is raising the child, then they're not gonna know what's like, if you don't know what they're doing, what they're researching, what they're up to. And I think that goes to parents too. Like, you get involved in your child's life.
They need to be like brought up. They're not just gonna like grow up like out
just
of
like
the ground,
that.
you know.
Because there's a difference for doing things for your child and doing things with your child. So if you do things for your child, like, oh, I go to work for you, I get this money for you so you can have this. Most of the time, kids aren't gonna care. They want you there in their life. So just parents in general, I feel like it's a hard decision, but you kind of have to, like, it's career or your child. And it would be cool to see studies on that itself, where you follow somebody who doesn't have a family or doesn't have a dad, and you follow somebody who does. You can't predict the future, but I just feel like if a child has a mom and a dad, and they're actively raising them and living life with them and not just for them, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Like, again, you don't have to be a believer in Christ. You don't have to go to do all this stuff. But
Yeah.
if you're actively in your child's life, talking with them, like teaching them right from wrong, disciplining them, then I think that makes a big difference. So this, we're not going to solve it. I think we're going to continue to talk about this situation and like these mass shootings and characteristics of mass shooters until the end of time.
Yeah, but what would you say would be a good response from us in light of these shootings? Like, how do we address them, in the first place? Like if they were to happen like to us, like what do we do then?
I feel, for me, definitely being how I would address it to like people, or
like if it happened to us, like personally, like
if we personally, so like something happened, like a shooter happened into, and it happens like in our neighborhood, or and we were part of it.
Yeah, like what do we do, like as believers and
how
as
do we
Christians?
outreach? And that's a good question. That's tough. I think that's something we should talk about. For me, just off the top of my head, if it happens in my community within my reach and power of influence, it would have to be literally going to them in like an intentional effort to build a relationship with, I guess it has to be like that. It has to be being intentional and building relationships within your community. If it's happened to you, or if it's happened to like your neighbor, like if it happened to my neighbor, then I would have to be intentional about going into their life and loving them and living life with them then at that point, rather than not doing it if it never happened. So I guess that's it, like just being in community with people as believers. I mean, I think that's what we're called to do anyways already, is to, what are you doing in your neighborhood if you're a believer, to go into that situation, just be intentional about creating relationships with these people. Because like I said too, like if you don't know, if you're not interacting with your neighbors, what if your neighbor to the right of you has a son but has no father? Like you could be that. You can definitely be that change of like getting into them, knowing their relationship, creating a relationship and bond with that child, and then being the mentor, being the father figure inside that person's life. So I think as a believer, it really kind of convicts me now, where you kind of have to go into your neighborhood with intentional reasons to create these relationships, so that if somebody does not have a father, you can be that father figure in that life. Or if there's a widow who doesn't have a husband, or their husband passed away, if you're married, your wife can be a mentor to that person, or just a friend to that person. So I think for our response, it has to be to actually get into the community, to be intentional, and to just live that life of sacrificing your time and your shyness, because I think that's a lot of people's problems too, is just they're too afraid to do it. So it goes back,
you just don't want to do it either.
You just don't want to do it. So I think that's the conviction that I'm having right now, is like, if you don't want these to happen and you want to address the root causes, then you could probably be that a part of that answer, is just getting involved in your neighborhood, getting involved in the people next to you, or just talking to these kids. I think that's what I would do now.
Yeah, I think just like a big part of it too, in like Christians responding to tragedies and stuff, like, dude, we only got one message as Christians, and that's like the hope that we have in Christ. And that's what we give to people in tragedies, when things like this happen, like mass shooters happen, and like it don't make no sense. Like what the heck went wrong, and no one's got an answer. Like the only thing that we can hope to do is just like share with them the gospel, and that like in the gospel, that is what gives us as people value. That's where our hope for people in the grave is. It's within the gospel. And sometimes that's that's literally all we need to do. And on top of, like being for them, caring for them, being like, the hands of God and the comfort for them in their time of mourning. But like
first you have to.
But like at the end of the day, the only sort of like sustenance that is gonna sustain those kind of people is like the hope of the Lord.
The hope in Jesus. Yeah.
Proclaim the gospel, my friends.
Proclaim very good point. I think that is, that is where it starts, huh? Like beyond just like, even if you initiate intentional community, that they can't put their hope in you because you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna try your best. Many times you're gonna try your best and do your best, but you're not gonna reach everybody's what they want. But there's somebody who does not fail. There's somebody who does not disappoint, and that is Jesus Christ. That is the hope in Jesus Christ. And especially during a death, that is the only way. It's just having hope in Jesus Christ. So very good point. So especially for believers, you believe that that's what a Christian should be doing. It's just, if something like this happens in your community, go and proclaim the gospel.
Amen.
Alrighty, so if you guys have any questions or any comments down below, well, write it down below. Or if you guys have any comments, just let us know. Give us your thoughts too on what you would do if like a situation of a mass shooting happened within your community, and especially if you're a believer, what would you do as a believer? Would you, do you think proclaiming the gospel is enough, or do you think something else has to happen? We would like to know your opinions. Just let us know down below, and
and we may respond to them.
Yes. We just kind of want to start these conversations again. And for you high school kids, if you're listening to, what do you guys think about our tips for you guys surviving high school? What are the issues that you guys are going through right now? If you're being bullied or not too, let us know. Message us, direct message us, where we can find resources to help you. We can help you. And more important too, Jesus can help you. So, just let us know down below in the comments. Just your thoughts. Peter, do you have like any last words for anybody?
Oh man, no man, not really.
Yeah. So
except for like, thanks for listening, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. And next week we're gonna try to we want to talk about masculinity.
Yes, we do.
And like stereotypes that men face, and like on a more specific level, like stereotypes that Hmong men have faced, that I have faced, and that Peter has faced, and
yes, and bringing into question, what is it that makes a man a man?
What makes a man a man? So please join us next week as we talk about masculinity, what makes a man, specifically for Hmong men too, and the kind of the stereotypes that men face, and what we should be doing in our life at certain ages. So yeah, please join in on that. And I think in a couple weeks from now, we're going to talk about like singleness.
Oh yeah, we're hoping to.
Yeah, hoping to talk about singleness and these nice guy stereotypes. From
nice guys finish last?
Nice guys finish last? No, because I got married. So, but yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Again, leave your comments down below. If you guys need any help, message us too. We just want to be here to tell you our unnecessary thoughts.
Yes, all these thoughts unnecessary.
So we'll catch you guys later on the next podcast. See ya.
Peace.